What is the best part about gardening? That's too hard to choose. Because watching seeds come into little seedlings, seeing those first leaves, watching the plant grow, harvesting, seeing the fruit produce, change color, and then being able to harvest it and consume it. There's a lot to love about gardening. Well, if you haven't already guessed what the camera's trained on right now, peppers. Yes, peppers. This whole entire section right here is the hottest peppers. I don't have my markers in yet, but they are divided into two, or well, some of them do. So Carolina Reapers back here. Here are ghosts. Let's see, what are these? Habaneros, regular habaneros. And I think these might be habaneros too. Let's see. Trinidad scorpion here is this last one. So these are the hottest of the hot. There is cayennes back here. I am more than positive these are the Bulgarian carrots. And then my one and only puma that survived. These plants are the ones that I started from seeds and grew myself. These are all purchased, unfortunately. The cayenne peppers, some of those were purchased and some of those were the ones that I grew. All of these, I don't have the markers on them and I can't recall what these are, but these are all ones that I grew as well. And then here's the Tabasco. So I'm actually going to try to make the Tabasco sauce out of the actual tobaccos. Sriracha plant purchased. That's a new one for me. Brown jalapenos, I definitely know what that one is. That's a Pippin Gold, just a sweet pepper. So I wanted to make sure that was away from the hot peppers as much as possible. So it's been a while since I've done anything, shown any kind of videos on the camera. I've actually taken several, but I just haven't posted them. So let's see if I can do this and not make it extremely long. I had onions here. I've picked about most of them. The ones that are here, the stalks seem to be still up, so they haven't been bent over. And a lot of them are starting to go to seed, which is just fine with me. I'm going to let those babies seed and let them sit here over the winter. They hopefully will, through the fall, they may even start to grow up. They'll hibernate and then they'll grow up again in the spring, is my guess. I have not done this yet, but that's my hypothesis. So we'll see what actually happens. This is the whole new area. I have expanded the garden, and this is an area that was dug up. And from here to all of that, not to mention the old area, but this is where the majority of the gardening is right now. So let's go through it here. So again, onions, peppers, more onions here, same thing. Now here is where all the sunflowers are, and this is for possible consumption, but these are black oil seed sunflower seeds, black oil sunflowers, and these are for the chickens actually. I have maybe 18 rows, 15 rows of this. And right now, the insect activity is unbelievable. The bees that are in here, let me just stay still for a moment and see if you can see movement. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see. It's so awesome. Just the insect activity, the different variety of bees that you will find in here. Oh gosh, it It's awesome. And you know what's great is, I know you're like, bee stings, but I've walked through here to pick the leaves for the chickens because the chickens love the sunflower leaves, and I can walk through here and they don't care. What they care about is right here. This is what they care about, is all that pollen. And they are more focused on all of that than anything else. I can't believe it. I love it. I love seeing all this insect activity. The wind made a really late start for everything. I got these in so late, it's unbelievable. The late start, because of the wind and because I had other things going on, got everything in late. So this is pretty good for the late start that these sunflowers received. All right, so let's move on over here. Right here, what we have is a lot of squashes, a lot of vines here. So yeah, I don't know what that one's called. Then there should be a spaghetti squash, sister. You should be growing this, and butternut squash. That farther one over there in the front, that is these interesting looking creatures. They say you can bake them, put things in them. So I'm gonna do like a zucchini boat, but instead I'm gonna use this puppy as the zucchini. Let's see, also what we have here, so there's 1, 2, 3 rows of there, and then there's a divide here, and then move over here, and zucchini, summer squash, and the continental pumpkins that I thought last year were supposed to be my baking pumpkins and weren't. So as you can see so far, this is what's coming on. I know, you're like, how are you going to consume all of that? Chickens. Chickens love them, and chickens will eat them. Yes, we have new chickens. I'll get to that. I'm not sure what's going on with this guy. It's watered. I don't know. I don't know why it's dying, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose that plant. But that's okay. I have 3 other zucchinis, so no worries there. Beans. Still doing the beans. This should be, I think, a red bean and a white bean. I did not do any pinto beans, more because I was so late in getting them in. I didn't get that far. That, and I still have pinto beans, but I don't have I only have a small amount of these. So I have the red and the white beans. I'm not sure which one. I know, bad. And over here, I actually have the black beans. Since those are so small, I need a higher quantity of plants to be able to get the same amount. Anyway, so those are my black beans. And then here we have sweet corn. There's, I think, 20 some odd rows here of the sweet corn. It is not genetically modified as far as I know. It is not the brands that you pick up from the store. I do believe this is from Wisconsin, and it's a place that's been in business. I don't know if they have to put, if it's genetically modified, but I saw nowhere on the packaging that said it was genetically modified. So I truly do hope that it's not genetically modified. So, and stocks are doing really well. Have the corn coming in, thankfully, because these were in late. I had to I dug in all these rows so that we could fill up the rows for it. That took a lot of my time too. That's also why things were late, was because I chose to do that so that I could get this watered that way. But next year that will already be done because I'm doing the no-till, still no-till, permaculture, horticultural kind of thing. I know I'm saying the second one incorrectly. So, but this is all that sweet corn, and this is also for the chickens and some consumption. So because it's not genetically modified, it's just a corn base, then the chickens should be able to eat this just fine. I'll crack this so that they can have their cracked corn, and again, that will be for the chickens to consume. Here is one of the newer features which didn't quite work out as well, only because, again, everything was late. So as you see here, the trellis. And this trellis, the idea was to be able to have more vining vegetables, and to have those vines go up and over and create a shaded area for the cool crops so that they would last longer in the summer time frame. Again, late start. I got the cool crops in there, but then also because of the wind, the high heat, and not really a wet spring, they all went to bolt really, really fast. Why have I left this in here is I'm letting it go to seed, and then I will pull these, pick the seed, replant the seed back in the ground, and hopefully have a winter crop with what is here, and still have, hopefully still have stuff that's going to go up and over. Well, at least that's the idea. We'll see. If anything, this is here for next year. All right, let's move on. So this area is getting watered right now. This is the old area. You've seen this before. I attempted to grow broccoli and cauliflower. These I actually thought I got in a proper amount of time, but again, wind, higher heat, it wasn't making it possible. Cabbage again, more this year. Celery coming in for this year. Supposed to have more peppers over here, but a lot of them did not make it. More onions, peppers, onions, peppers, onions. I let the sunflowers stay right where they're at in a experiment of shade, and that it would shade the peppers and giving them a break from the intense heat and sun. Now, it would have been better if they were on this side so that they would get the shade from the afternoon, but that's where they popped up by themselves. More boxes over here that I planted garlic in. I don't know what happened. I think again it was the wind, the heat, and everything else. But they actually were growing, and then they completely died off. So if the bugs didn't consume them, my hope is that they're still in there, and come next year they'll repop themselves up. Again, more onions here. I picked a lot of them. This area, as in the past, this had potatoes, and I have volunteer potatoes once again. So this will be a third year generation of potatoes in here, I think. There's that very high possibility. Now, what I really want to show you, I'm going to go to the other side because I have garlic over there, and that's what I grew last year. So I gotta show that, but hold on. Let's pause this. See if I can do this before I get drenched. All right, so right here, you see all those little things coming up? That's garlic, and that's the garlic from last year. I had this flowering going on last year with some of the garlic because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. And I let the garlic stay in. I was supposed to pick them, and I didn't. And I let them grow, and on them, these flowering, let's see if it'll focus right. Oh, might not because of the wet. There's what it's called on there is bulbous. And that bulbous is little tiny, like garlic clove seeds. And I had picked them all off, but some had stayed. And those right there are what stayed in the ground over the winter. And I didn't water this, not knowing that they had been there and then they had grown up. This is the little greens that you see there is what I planted here come the spring, thinking that I would get bigger garlic. That didn't happen. I'm leaving all of that in there now, and in hopes that over the winter, hibernate, regrow. I'm going to let those seeds right there drop into the ground again and see if once again they will produce their own garlic just like that. I did pull some. They're at home, so I don't have it right now. But the garlics were about that big. Not too very big, but they were about that big. Really nice, really good. So that's the experiment for this year. Oh, I have an onion in there that fell. And I don't know why more people aren't doing this, because if these will produce into the cloves over the winter, the fall, the winter, and then the spring time frame, and you have garlic, this is awesome. You never have to plant garlic cloves again. You just let Mother Nature take its course. Here's a new section. This is supposed to be a foraging area for the chickens. It has to grow up, and then once it's time to kind of like harvest, then you, what am I trying to say? let the chickens in, they scratch at it, and then they redistribute out the seeds that they scratch in here, letting them grow up again, and they have their own foraging area. So how is that exactly going to work? Not 100% sure yet. It's an experiment, to say. All right, lastly, the chickens. So these chickens have done their part. They've been really great. They are now 3 years old, and their egg production has gone down. So these gals have done their part, and I'm very appreciative of them. But they will be going saying goodbye here in the fall. And new chickens are now in, and more of them. So they we had them in the brooding box. I've shown that in the past. I brought this out here because they got big enough, and there's a lot more of them. There's 23 of them, and they needed to be able to have the space. They were not going to fit in that brooding box. So I brought them out here. Now they're still too small. They don't look small, I know, but they're still too small to be with the big chicks. They've come close to the bigger chicks, and they're already going after the small chicks. So it'll be a few more weeks before they can intermingle with them. But this is the new chickens, and this is hopefully the feed that they will be being fed. And hopefully that forage area will be for these chickens here. We'll see how it will all work. So I know that's a real brief, or a real fast, not too fast. Let me come back over here real quick though, because I didn't exactly tell you what's in here. Cold crops, lettuces, spinaches is what I have here. Here in the vines, I wanted to do loofahs to have the sponges. These are gourds. I'd love to be able to make my own cups or bowls out of the gourds themselves. Then I have cucumbers, cantaloupe, and watermelon. And then there's supposed to be my sweet pumpkins in here as well. Again, everything's late started, so I'm not sure what we're going to have here. That's like a red kale. So yeah, that's what I have for my garden. Oh, I was going to try, what is this? Brussels sprouts. The chickens ate all the first leaves off of it. I didn't think they were even going to make it. I was for sure that these were going to die, but they didn't. Alright, well, this is about 20 minutes long now, so this is the new garden. And it will be hopefully no more bigger than it is now next year. That's not true. We shall see. Thanks for taking a look at my garden.